I don't usually collect stoneware that often. I'm not opposed to it, it's just that I don't usually seek it out. I've got a few pieces recently though. This one is really neat. It's got all the functioning pieces and it's in really great shape, so I took it home. So let's get into it on this episode of Antique Bottle Stories. William Simpson Weir was born in July 1835 in Ohio. His parents are of Scotch descent, and his dad, William Sr., owned a small factory making wool goods, and he had that factory for over 20 years. Here's their household in 1850. William Jr. is one of 6 kids. By the 1860 census, 25-year-old William is married to 17-year-old Fidelia. They live next door to his parents. They had married about 6 months prior to the census. Him and Fidelia ended up having 9 kids together, although 5 babies did not make it to their 10th birthday. His wife died young as well in 1884, and she was 42. He had kids as old as 20 and as young as 2 years old when she died. He never remarried. I assume the older kids helped with the younger ones because he still had to work. So let's get into his life work. This article from 1886 says, at an early date, the inventive brain of W.S. Weir began to conceive of a better way for cultivating corn than with a hoe. In 1859, he completed a plow, which upon testing had proved successful. After further alterations, he patented his horse-drawn cultivator in 1862 when he was just 27. He opened a factory in 1863, and in the first year, 400 cultivators were made. The following year, another 500. In 1869, Weir Plow Company Incorporated, which included him and 3 other guys. It goes on to say that the extensive buildings have been put up for manufacturing purposes, and they're filled with the most complete and best machinery. It says they cover about 4 acres. They are manufacturing plows, cultivators, double shovels, and harrows. This article is from 1886, so they've been in business for over 20 years. And it says they employ about 300 to 400 hands, and they extend into Ohio, Indiana, and even into Mexico. Most of their timber is from Kentucky and Missouri. It says their superior qualities of agriculture implements are known and appreciated throughout the country. I found a few patent illustrations, both from 1877. Around 1888, Weir got out of the business, selling it to one of his business partners, William Hanna, who actually also owned the Monmouth Pottery Company. And here's a really cool photo of that pottery company. In 1896, Weir bought the Alexis Pottery Company and had that for about 3 years. In 1899, he sold his interest for that company. About a year after he sold the Alexis Pottery Company, the company was destroyed by a fire and was never rebuilt. So the Weir Pottery Company was founded in November 1899. It says it has a large 4-story factory with 4 kilns and extensive warehouses. William Weir was the president, with partners Mr. McCullough and Mr. Hardin as vice president. It says these men have been woven into the fabric of the community as great businessmen. William Weir also organized the People's National Bank of Monmouth, Alexis, and Little York, Illinois around 1897, and he was also the president. This article says that he patented these little stone fruit jars back in 1892, long before he was even in the pottery business. He patented the fastener for it as well. I made this little video here about how this works. It snaps up, which releases the pressure, and I'm not sure what this metal is made of. That's not really my expertise, but maybe iron. Here's the lid. It looks like some remnants of rubber seal here. And here's the inside. And now I'm just trying to line it up properly before I snap it back down. It's a nice, solid design. It's really nice. This article says that in 1903, H.J. Heinz had ordered 1 million Weir stoneware jars for their preserves and apple butter. 1900 census, 4 of his kids live with him along with 2 servants. In January 1900, it looks like he's wanting to get back into the farm equipment business. It says the Weir name, which has been made famous in Monmouth and all over the farming world, in connection with good plows and other agricultural equipment, will again be on goods of this line and made in Monmouth. The Weir Manufacturing Company is to be the firm and is already well underway and will be completed before the 1st of the month, so by February. It says the erection of the plant is looking to go up here soon. Well, near the end of 1901, William Weir died at the age of 66. It says the night before he did all his usual activities. He went to work, then he went to church for prayer, and then he came home and went to bed as usual. Around midnight, he started to feel ill, so a doctor was called in. William was feeling better about 2 a.m., so the doc left. William called his son into his room shortly afterwards and was breathing heavy, and he died around 3 a.m. They said it was a heart attack. It says that he had been feeling like his strength was breaking up for the past few months, and that he might need to start thinking about retiring. This obituary says that his business had been an honorable one and as great as that of any man. It says he was a personal friend to all who ever worked with him, and the feeling of loss will be deep and widespread. 1901, after Weir's death, this says the plow business will undergo new organization. A year after Weir's death, Hardin is showing as vice president of the Pottery Company. A few months later, the pottery plant is swept by fire. This mentions that Hardin is now the president of the company. It says the plant will take a short time to rebuild. In August, they are just about completed. 1903, the company secures a 40-acre lot of land with the best clay banks. It's estimated that it's got 2 million tons of clay. This article mentions the famous Weir fruit jar is still being manufactured, and Heinz is still a big customer for its pickles. In 1905, Weir Pottery Company merged with Western Stoneware Company. There were a series of pottery companies: Macomb Stoneware Company, Culbertson Stoneware Company, Clinton Stoneware Company, and Fort Dodge Stoneware Company. These all would merge and they would all become different plant sites of Western Stoneware Company by 1906. As the new combined company, these makers' marks on their pottery was now going to be a maple leaf. So anything after 1906 would have this mark. Now let's look at what happened with the plow company. In 1905, the Weir Craig manufacturing plant was destroyed by fire, but it stays in business, and in 1913, Robert Craig is vice president of the Weir Craig Manufacturing Company. In 1918, there's an auction selling all the equipment and machinery for this company, so I guess that ends the plowing manufacturing. 1954, Western Stoneware is being sold. By this time, there's no mention of the famous fruit jars, but it does mention that they will continue to produce stoneware and flower pots. In 1965, the Stoneware Company is sold again, and in 1985, it closes its doors. Now, I went and looked around 3rd Street in Monmouth, Illinois, where the factory was, and there's supposedly a stoneware museum right around here somewhere. But if you stand in this intersection and you turn around, you can see some remnants over there. So I went over there, and I don't know for sure, but it kind of looks like they could be remnants of the factory. This is what it would have looked like in its heyday. These newspaper articles from the 1980s and 90s talk about from 1903 to 1937, the Weir/Western Company used to make a pottery for a company called Sleepy Eye Milling Company in Minnesota. Sleepy Eye is named after an old Indian chief, and many of the pieces have distinguishable cobalt blue Indian designs. Now, I thought I was done, And then I saw one more article, and it mentions that Western Pottery Company was in production until 2006. So I don't know why that one article said that in 1985 they closed the doors. So now one more question remains. This says, "As you like it, horseradish" on it. So who made this, and what's up with that company? Well, there's not that much online about it, but I was able to find an ad which has the company name U.S. Horseradish Company of Saginaw, Michigan. This was a company that produced several different products, including this horseradish. Now, 3 brothers ran it: Julius, Emil, and Otto Vogt. This patent office record from 1903 says that they started using the trademark in 1902. And here's a record showing the company dissolved January 15th, 1912. So that's 10 years they were in business. This little advertisement was the only version of this ad that I saw. It shows up in Time Magazine, Ladies' Journal, and newspapers in 1907 only. There's no variation of this ad anywhere. But what I find interesting is that the picture of the horseradish container is not our little crock. So, these little horseradish jars would date from no earlier than 1902, when the horseradish business began, and no later than 1906, because that's when Western Stoneware Company purchased the Weir Company. And we have proof, because the 1907 ad here, the crock isn't used. So there's only a 4-year window that this little crock could have been made. Alrighty then. That should do it for this episode. I hope you have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching.